Hey, Katie.
Hey, Rhiannon, what's happening?
Oh, having to be an adult, I have to do a job. It's
What is that
overrated.
about? I know.
Overrated.
I can't believe when I was a kid in the 90s, I was like really looking forward to this stuff.
I know. I was like, one day I'm gonna have a washing machine and it's gonna be great. And it is great, but you gotta pay for the damn thing by working.
Agreed. It's
Okay,
crap.
let's go back to memory lane though. We don't have any updates or whatever corrections or updates that I could tell. I did watch back the episode. I didn't see any glaring errors, but
That's fantastic.
yeah, my husband is several episodes behind though, and he does wake me up and tell me that I've made a mistake in my statement. So we might find out in 2 weeks that there is a correction or an omission because he did tell me that I do know who Modest Mouse is and I do know the Float On song. And he was just like very insistent that I know that. So we'll find out in 2 weeks
Yeah,
what we messed up this week.
that's
All right.
funny.
Well, let's just get cracking. So, Katie, you got some songs this week?
I do. I didn't really have like much of a theme like I did last week, but just, meaningful songs from the late teen years pretty much is where they're focused on. So I'll just jump right into the first one. This is an artist I'm sure you will know.
Okay.
One way or another, you will know this artist. So let's get cracking here. Doo, doo.
You belong among the wildflowers. You belong on a boat out at sea. Sail away, kill off the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, find you a lover. Go away somewhere all right and new. I've seen no other who compares with you. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. You belong with your love by your arms. You belong somewhere you feel free.
All right. So that was Tom Petty singing Wildflowers, and there are many different versions of that song. That was a much
Hmm.
slower version than on the album's namesake from '94, Wildflowers. Have you heard of Tom Petty before?
I have, in fact, heard of Tom Petty before.
Okay,
Um,
fantastic.
I don't think I know this song, but I'm like,
Mm,
oh, this I would hear this and be like, oh, I bet this is Tom Petty. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and this album was, I think, one of his first solo albums. I'll give you a little Tom Petty fun facts and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and stuff, and then I'll get into why this song is very important to me. So Tom Petty was born in Gainesville, Florida. I didn't know if you knew that. It's very
Didn't know
exciting.
that.
So he was the lead vocalist and guitarist of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So anyone I think who's ever gone to college or seen a frat party anywhere has heard American Girl like blaring out of frat house windows. Refugee, don't come around here no more. And when I think of a lot of the famous Tom Petty songs, I had to really go back and look, like, was this solo Tom Petty? Was this Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers? And then I think most people know that he was in a super group called the Traveling Wilburys at one point, and that's like Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Roy Orbison, Jeff Lynne, so like guy's got credentials.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then some of his solo hits are Free Falling, Won't Back Down. But then he died of an accidental overdose in 2017. So it was right after the end of the like 40-year anniversary of the Heartbreakers tour. So that's a real bummer. The music community was very bummed. And my husband's been able to see him in concert, but I was doing something else and wasn't able to go. So I never got to see him in concert, and he's one of my big concert regrets. So PSA to everyone, you need to have a see them before they die concert bucket list.
Yeah.
You know, I've been able to see BB King, Dick Dale, quite a few people before they died, and they're in their old age. And he's one that I really regret that I didn't get to see him. But
Yeah, it was right before we realized, oh, just because they cleaned up their act and have been living clean for X number of years doesn't mean they could be
yeah,
gone in the blink of an eye. Like when they're young and they're like flying too close to the sun, you kind of like, oh, you never know what's going to happen to them. But we thought we were kind of in the clear with Tom Petty, and we were not.
yeah, and it's one of those like, you know, getting old sucks, and you need pain meds, and you need this and that, you know, and then what shape is your body in, and with mixed with what chemicals, you know, and it's just shit.
Yeah.
But why I picked this song was a couple different reasons. First of all, it was hard. I knew I wanted to pick the Wildflowers album. The album's very special to me and my husband because when we first got together in our teen years, this is like one of the albums we would play over and over. And we would sit in his bedroom on his futon with the black light on. And back in the day, before the technology of just like projected stars on your ceiling, you had sticky glow in the dark stars that you had to
Hmm.
individually place on the ceiling. And so the black light, you know, would help make them much cooler looking. So we would just like stare at the ceiling and have hopes and dreams and listen to Tom Petty Wildflowers and be all in love. And it was so nice. But I like Wildflowers too because with my adventure spirit and just the weird oddball things I like, I always love wildflowers, some more traditional flowers, and then talking about belonging at a boat out at sea. And I think I was a pirate in a former life. I'm not sure, but those lyrics really speak to me. Miley Cyrus also does a really good cover of that. I think it was like, you know, as a tribute to Tom Petty when she was on the Stern Show or something.
Hmm.
But that Wildflowers album has like, It's Good to Be King, You Don't Know How It Feels, Honeybee. There's like a lot of, I mean, all of the songs. I'm like, I love this one. I love this one. I love this
Hmm.
one.
Yeah. No,
So,
I like Tom Petty. I don't know that I've ever owned a Tom Petty album. I don't think he actually made the cut to spend one penny, but I really like him. I think that a few years back there was like that documentary about um no, this is here's our first correction and update for next week. It's that documentary about the making of Jimmy Iovine and whatever, I don't know. Anyways, Tom Petty featured heavily in this documentary. It was like I think it might have been a docu series.
mm,
I'll just stop trying to remember right now. It's gonna take a while. I'll just like
update
Google
it
it
next
after this,
episode.
and we'll do an update next episode. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was he did have a very like interesting approach to like his music and what he wanted to talk about and it being real and like all that stuff. So no, I'm into Tom Petty. That was a good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Well, and you know, the video for Don't Come Around Here No More was just like a mind bender, and the whole Alice in Wonderland, and he's dressed like the Mad Hatter, and then she's like on the table and they're eating Alice cake. And I mean, his videos were amazing. Just that, of course, Johnny Depp was in one, the Rebel Without a Clue. So yeah, I mean, just he hit on all the boxes for me as a late teen. And then also just in general, my mind always correlates Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers with the Cars, and it's more like tonally sounding. They're both like angular dudes that kind of look
Hmm.
weird. So
Yeah.
they always are just like side by side in my mind. I also love the Cars. So anyway, that was song number one.
Yay. I liked
I'm
it.
glad
I
that you
loved it.
I'm glad you knew Tom Petty. That's very exciting. All right, and back, let's see, here. is my next one. This one's kind of fun because I'm going to start it about 2 minutes through because there is a lot of guitar action happening. Um, and I had to like pick the best spot for what I wanted to showcase in this song. So here we go. Oh, there we go.
I take one, cause he left me, and two for my family, and three for my heartache, and four for my headaches, and five for my lonely, and six for my sorrow, seven, no tomorrow, and eight, I forget what it was for, but nine for a lost God, 10, everything. You can always kiss off with it, yeah. On my back and see them stare. They'll hit me bad, but I won't mind. They'll hit me bad and do it all time. Yeah, you do it all time. Yeah, you do it all time. Do it all time. Do it all time.
Oh my goodness. Have you heard of the Violent Femmes and heard the song Kiss Off?
I have definitely heard the song Kiss Off. I don't know that I would have known that this song was by the Violent Femmes, but I think I would recognize, oh, that's the name of a band from the early 90s. I think I would have recognized that on a multiple choice quiz, but on fill in the blank, I would probably struggle.
So for this song was actually released in like 1983, but it didn't come into my world until high school days. And so, that's why to me it's like late high school stuff. So the Violent Femmes actually formed in the early 80s, I think 81, 82, and in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And some people know, Blister in the Sun, Add It Up, Gone Daddy Gone, and then back when Gnarls Barkley was big in the late aughts, right, like 2009 or something, Gnarls Barkley covered Gone Daddy Gone. And then also there's like, when I was doing research on the band, there's a little bit of drama with the band, and they parted ways in 09 because in 07 the lead singer like sold the rights to Blister in the Sun to Wendy's, like it was on a Wendy's commercial. And the bass player put out a statement about how like the lead singer is vegetarian and they don't endorse garbage Wendy's and they would never eat it. And it was like really, so that was fun to research. You don't think about that when you're bopping to those songs. But I picked this song for a lot of reasons because you can pick they have a ton of hits. One, I think I first heard this song and the Blister in the Sun album, like my sister's a year and a half older than me, and her friends were, listening to this at the house after school one day or something, and they're just rocking out to it. But so I always have a memory of that. And then I've seen them in concert quite a few times, have signed vinyl and all of that. And one time we saw them downtown bars. There's some locations that tend to rotate a lot. And at this particular time we saw them at a bar called the Lodge Bar, and they had a really good stage set up kind of in their outside patio area. And it was very like intimate size of crowd. And then you also had like the whole cityscape around you and stuff. It wasn't like amphitheater with some grass and stuff like that. So it was a really cool venue to see them. But I think more importantly, why I picked this song is because it was kind of like a time in my life. Most of the people that watch this, all 40 of our friends, if they all start watching, knew me growing up. And I was like straight A, people pleaser. I mean, on the surface anyway. The things that people saw, the things that I showed to people, I was, very much rule follower, into joining things, whatever. But I have this little rebellious streak on the inside, and to my favorite part in that is like, I hope you know this will go down on your permanent record. And getting in trouble at school was like such a big deal to me, and so that just made me laugh. And then this obviously, when he was counting up, it's about how many pills he's taking and everything, but it's just telling people to kiss off, and just saying F you to a bunch of things and not being happy with what's going on. And just it's very rebellious spirit of a song. And I think it just like really spoke to me, instead of rebelling and actually doing a lot of bad things. I think I mostly let it all out in music, and in a good girl way, and just like banged my head and moshed it out and danced it out, and really felt like I was a rebel at that time in my life. Really felt like I was really doing something about those things I was angry with.
Yeah.
Silently, silently rebelling against the man, basically.
Yeah. I think that Blister in the Sun, now that you said that song, I'm like, oh, I for sure know that song. Did I know that they were by the same band? Probably. I probably did not know that they were by the same band.
Yeah.
But this song, I really like this song too, and especially like how he's talking about all these, like he has to take 10 different pills like for all the things that's wrong with him. But you can also kind of tell that like they don't really work. Right? So like
right.
The pill takes the edge off, but it doesn't take away whatever, like it doesn't take away the loneliness and the headaches and like the everything.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you wouldn't be here like still in the middle of it needing to write a song about it. So I like I like this kind of happier type of tempo with a heavier type of lyric. Like I like that confusion. I like to feel like that kind of confusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. I really enjoy it too. And his voice is so weird. Apparently, I'm sure if you look at the pattern of songs that I pick, I like this weird kind of tone of voice, and it's just a little off, and it's what he does with his voice, and time. It's just fun, so I don't know. It hits all my little tingles in my brain that makes me happy. It's hard not to dance to that song for sure.
Yeah, but like right now, all I have in my head is like, let me go on like I blister in this.
Let me go on.
Yeah,
big hands, I know you're the one.
I feel like
I wasn't gonna finish it, but then I had to.
Yeah, I now that you're like, okay, this was like around first, even if this album might have come out in the 80s, this was very much like in teen circulation. We didn't have TikTok. We had to actually talk to one another and say, are you hip to this cool new song that's actually 15 years old? We actually gave each other CDs and tapes to introduce each other to music. Yeah, I think that like these songs were kind of circulating in the cool older brother kind of.
Yeah,
there used to be a genre called "You Have a Cool Older Brother," and I think this was in it.
That's exactly right. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I had to pick that. It was really hard to choose which song, but they definitely needed to be represented.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Oh, and my next one, I know you've mentioned them before. You definitely know where they're from and everything about them. That's my little clue for you.
All right.
So this one is definitely a no-brainer here. So here we go.
And a commercial. Homeowner in Ohio and you're still paying for your electricity, then I've got some big.
Katie, are you paying for your electricity?
I am.
You gotta keep them separated. And then you disrespect me. Take 'em out. You gotta keep them separated. Hey, don't pay no mind. We're under 18, won't be doing any time. Hey, come out and play. By the time you hear the siren, it's already too late. One goes to the morgue and the other to jail. One guy's wasted and the other's a waste. It goes
All right. Rhiannon, who are these guys and where are they from?
These are the Offspring, and they are from Garden Grove, California. And this
What?
young man, he went to UCLA, and he's a full-on genius.
And I feel like I know somebody else who grew up in Garden Grove.
Oh, I wonder if
It might be you,
it
right?
might be me. It might be me.
Yeah, I figured you would appreciate it. But let me talk to you a little bit about Offspring. See if you knew all these random fun facts that I Googled.
Okay.
No, but you know, they formed in 84. And the thing that I thought was pretty exciting, because you know, when I heard it, I just liked it. And then I have lots of reasons why, and I can tell you later. But apparently they are credited alongside of like Green Day, No Effects, Bad Religion, of like reviving mainstream interest in punk rock in the 90s. So they actually are one of the best-selling punk rock bands in history. So I thought that was pretty neat. Didn't know if you knew that. And then so this was released in 94 and it was on the album Smash. And this one I picked for many, many reasons. Like when this album came out, first of all, where I lived growing up and went to school and everything, it was mostly just like pop or rap, you know, and kind of Biggie and Tupac and everything was big. And there wasn't really much musical diversity, you know, not a lot of people that I hung out with or knew of was into punk but like to me, when I hear the bass line and everything, this is the start of like, you know, when you heard Korn and Primus and then like real heavy bass lines and stuff. And so I love the bass. And then this was back when, you know, you couldn't Google things, and I am a lyrics person and I'm album art person. So I would like take the case totally out of the CD case and the liner and read all the lyrics and sing along with it. And so a lot of things about this song. I love the wordplay. That's why I played it to like one guy's wasted and another's a waste. Like, oh my God, so good, you know? And at that time, there were tons, you know, we live in Columbus, Ohio. Okay. It's not like LA, it's not Chicago, it's not New York, but there was a lot of like gang wannabes, gang activities, people coming to school in blue and red and blah, blah, blah. And so this really hit home to the stuff that I was seeing, and everybody being separated and fighting for stupid reasons, and being young and dumb and carrying guns. And it resonated with me. Like, oh my God, they're singing about like shit that I see that's very uncomfortable for me. And I don't understand why, you know. So yeah, plus it was just fun to dance to and fun to listen to. And I think probably everybody who listens to this knows one Offspring song. I mean, they got played so much, it's like almost hard to say you like Offspring anymore because they're just so played out. And I mean, they're still making new music. I think they just started recording in September 22. They're all over Faction Punk on Sirius XM. Like they just won't go away. And they just have so many good songs. Self-Esteem, Pretty Fly for a White Guy. Just, I mean, those are just the uber famous ones. But yeah, so that's why I had to pick that. It was very formative to me. Again, it was shaping my taste apart from where I live, what, you know, what other people like. I started to get more into punk rock, punk rap kind of stuff where a lot of people didn't. Mostly the lyrics and the just high octane freaking bass lines and chords and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I have actually seen the Offspring in concert.
Hey.
Yay!
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. Have seen them several times. Yeah. I don't have a special concert story for them, but yes, seen them several times.
Yeah,
When did you see them? How old were you?
I saw them in 97. So it was my freshman year of college, and again, it was a whole effort because like who had a car? Where could we go? Where would we sleep? Because I went to Cal Poly, which is in this place called San Luis Obispo, super sleepy beach town, and bands would come through there, but small bands. Like the kind of bands that I was into would come through there, which was convenient because it was a college town, but it was like out of the way. It was not, no one on a big tour was going to come through there. But it was like 3 hours away by driving to San Jose, which is where I live now. And the San Jose is like a rail city. And they came through here on a big tour. And it was them, L7, and I think like another band called AFI. So it was a punk show. Like it was a punk show in a college basketball arena, just like walled. I think it was one of those experiences like you don't often notice that you're the only girl there, but I was like, oh my God, I am the only girl here. Like even though L7 is women, it's a punk, it's women's punk rock, and like with the L7, but still like 90% of the audience was 19-year-old disaffected dudes, just like elbows flying everywhere. And I'm like, okay, this is fun. I'm having fun. I'm still having fun. I was mainly being like, of course I'm into the Offspring. They are from Garden Grove, California, so I gotta rep. But it was really fun. I don't know that I would pay their current rates to see them. I don't. That's one of the things that I'm finding is that the music of my youth, we're not youths anymore, and we're commanding a much higher price, all of us, than we did when we were 19. I'm like, Offspring, the Offspring, you're great and all, but I don't know if you're $500 for like, the mezzanine level kind of good. So I probably am not going to take an opportunity to see them again when they come through here again, because they do tour. They still tour a lot. I still see their posters up all the time. But whenever I check their tickets, I'm like, $300? No, I don't think that's for me.
Agreed. Well, that's it. I only brought 3 songs to the party today.
Okay. Well, I have 4, but the 4th one is just kind of like a throwaway.
Nice.
But I'm like, okay, let's see what do I have on here. Share my screen. The first song I'm starting like way in the middle of the video.
Okay.
Because the video should probably be more called like a short film, because they have this whole like this guy walks into the diner and they overdub the cantina scene from Star Wars. Like, I'm looking for this guy, and it's fully like it had a very specific audience. And that audience was are you between the ages of 16 and 22 and you like Star Wars and you like silliness and you like a little bit, you might like punk rock music. Okay. But this song is just like so cute and like on the nose.
Well, I know you can't work in fast food all your life. here. Tell me it's cool, I just don't believe it. Sell out with me, oh yes.
Oh, I love this song.
Dude, come on. I was a trumpet nerd. I thought I was going to be in a ska band forever. Like, this is the best. I actually almost put this on my list for this week, and that would have been so funny.
Yeah, I think like the very first conversation we had each other, Katie is like super good at onboarding, both onboarding new people to her team and onboarding herself to other teams. Katie and I met at work. She's like going through the roster, and it's my turn to have, 10-minute intro call with her. She's like, blah blah blah, here's my work biography, let's talk about like what are you into. And I'm like, and she's like, oh, I'm really into music, I collect vinyl. And I'm like, oh, I used to be really into music, blah blah blah, what kind of music are you into? And she's like, oh, I used to love this band called Real Big Fish. And I'm like, oh my god, I used to love this band called Real Big Fish. I'm like, we're gonna be best friends forever.
Friends forever. Oh my god, I know.
But yeah, I love Real Big Fish. Everything about them I love. Like, they are so self-aware of like their goofiness, but they're actually very talented, and like their lyrics are not trying too hard to have a deeper meaning, but they kind of do have a deeper meaning. And like this song, to put this song and have this song be one of their first songs that gets major radio play, and I love everything about it. It's so good.
Well, and this part too is like the institutional angsty stuff, that like is a complete theme with me. This sellout and like, what do you want to be? Do you this was like the same time as like when I started listening to the Descendants and Suburban Home, and like, I don't want to do all these things that everybody grows up and tells you need to do, and like the whole sellout music thing. And yeah, I absolutely love this song, and I definitely don't want to take away your stories, but I was having trouble deciding. I want to do Real Big Fish. Do I do Sellout? But I freaking love She Has a Girlfriend Now. Like, what a funny breakup song. Like, what a funny breakup song. Like when you talk about them like not being serious, but they talk about breakups, they talk about, growing up, like adult problems and funny like, and beer, their song Beer, let's just, let's just have another beer or whatever. Like, it's funny, it's fun to dance to, but okay, let's just drink away our problems. Like, so I was like, ooh, which one? She Has a Girlfriend. And they're also boppy.
Yeah, I love that song, She Has a Girlfriend Now. And like, I'm pretty sure on the album it's the girl from Save Ferris that's doing the vocals, but they used to tour together. I'm like, I don't know which song it is, but there's a version. And like, this was also the era of bootlegs. Do you remember bootlegs? Oh, you probably collect bootlegs.
I do have, I have some bootleg cassette tapes, and I have bootleg everything. Yes.
Yeah, and so like there would be bootlegs, or they'd be like talking smack on other bands on these songs.
Yeah.
It was no, I really love them, and I saw them in concert for my 21st birthday. Yeah, my birthday is like, that birthday was the Friday of Thanksgiving, so like it was really kind of it's fine, you have a nice dinner with your family. And my dad, like, it had been this thing that my dad really wanted to have like a big birthday party for me, and since I was like the youngest of my friends, I would be the last one to turn 21, and we should all go to Vegas now that it's finally Rhiannon's legal. And I'm like, Dad, sounds great, however, let's just look at the calendar, and it's going to be on Thanksgiving weekend. And my dad's like, oh yeah, that's true, that's a bummer. Why don't you see if there's a concert that you want to go to, and I'll get tickets for your friends instead. And that'll be easier for them to come into town, like, kind of a mass in Los Angeles, and like go to the show. And I don't remember the name of the place that we saw them in, but it was a very small venue, like less than 300 people type of venue.
Ooh,
and
gotcha.
it was like, most of the time it was a different, it wasn't a rock venue. Most of the time it was kind of like a cabaret, like burlesque type of venue. So it had like, you know, the little Art Deco vibe of like the dance floors in the middle, but then there's like these like raised up like wings with the tables, and then there's like another level above with tables. So like if you've ever seen a movie set in the 30s and there's like a big band up on the stage and there's some people dancing, like that's what you should be picturing.
Gotcha.
And I don't remember who the opening act was, but during those earlier acts, my dad, because it was my birthday, he bought us like whatever, like we could go behind the rope and we could sit in those little like jazz seats and like drink. I actually wasn't 21 yet because I turned 21 at midnight that night. So I wasn't 21 yet, so I couldn't drink, but my friends could. And they sat next to us because like there was no green room, there was no place for them to sit. So they were sitting like right there, like I could touch them.
Oh my God. I love that. I love
it
when
was
that
like,
happens.
oh,
and you're just like, do I talk? Did you talk to them? Did you talk to them?
No, because it was a small venue that was not meant for loud punk rock music playing.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't breathe. It was so loud. It was way too loud. But it was really great. I had a lot of fun. I feel like I saw them another time, like maybe at the Vans Warped Tour, or maybe like at some kind of K-Rock show. K-Rock was like the big alternative punk rock channel in LA. And they would just like post like, oh, blah, 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 back to the beach. Here's 35 bands at Huntington Beach. And you just kind of go there for $5 all day long. Remember when concerts were cheap? Like talk about.
Oh, it was so wonderful.
Yeah.
I saw Real Big Fish when I was in high school. I went with my friend Beth, and I think, you know, I was going to a lot of shows then, and it's just so high energy, and the vibe is happy, and it's like the happiest mosh pit you could ever be in, because everybody's dancing their own way that they dance to ska. You know, there's definitely different subcultures of ska fans, and so it was great people watching, it was great dancing, it was just happy, high energy, you know. And it was just such a fun show. They're just fun guys. Yay. I'm glad you picked that song.
Okay, next one is in a similar vibe. Let's see if I can get it to play. Also, they had an intro. Okay, I won't like play the whole song because it's so silly. But Katie, do you know the Aquabats?
Ma'am, I think I do. I think I might have got an Aquabats Christmas ornament from somebody special last year or the year before.
Yeah.
Who knows? We've been friends forever now. Yeah, I love the Aquabats. And they're still touring like crazy, and I've seen them at like Riot Fest. You know, they're on the punk circuit, you know, so and then they're always like, especially for the pandemic and everything, they've got virtual shows. They're just so good with their fans, and just awesome. Crazy characters.
So you like, just like when we were talking about like hip hop and R&B, there was like the gangster rap went this way, and then like the fat boys are over here. It's the same thing with like punk music. So when you're kind of like, okay, I'm 19, I'm gonna get into like uh kind of music that has a commentary on society. Like, is that commentary on society that everything sucks and we should burn it all down? Or is that commentary on society that everything's silly and shouldn't really be taken that seriously? And if you want to do something, just do it. Like, that's what I love about the
Yeah.
Aquabats so much, is that I feel like they were way ahead of their time. Like, if you look at this, you're like,
Absolutely.
if this was 2000, like instead of this being 93, this was 2003 or 20, 2010, they would have like a billion followers on
Agreed.
TikTok, right? Like if they
100%.
came up in this era now, they would be like the hugest thing on TikTok. But like
Yeah.
they created like a public access show, and they had this whole persona. Like they took everything to like the ultimate, like how far can you stretch this joke to the very, very end?
Yeah.
But they just did it, and like that's like that, like the punk rock ethos of like, don't complain, just do it. Like just do it. Just get up on your feet and just do it. And
Yes.
it doesn't have to be good, it just has to get started. I love that about both the Aquabats and Real Big Fish, but I think the Aquabats really like show it off more. And
Yeah,
they're
they're
so
a little
funny.
they're a little less like snarky or sarcastic about it. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, we see all the same stuff you guys do, but we're just choosing positivity and just doing something. Doing something. Yeah. When we saw them at Riot Fest, they had like I feel like it was like inflatable sharks that were being thrown around, and it's just always costumes and flair and a good time. You know, it's hard to ride the line between like you get a pass at how cheesy you are based on like how good you are musically and lyrically and everything else. Like how much you commit, are you doing it just to pander? And like Bats to me is like a good example of cheese and comedy theater music.
Yeah. They know it's a joke, but they are not like, they're not like doing it just to pander. They're doing it because they genuinely think that this is fun and silly.
Exactly.
And a real hoot. I saw them in concert at a roller skating rink.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So I think I've seen them a couple other times also, but the one that stands out in my mind the most is going back. I went to Cal Poly. It's this like sleepy little beach town, kind of in the middle, halfway between LA and San Francisco. Major bands don't tour through there, but small bands, especially like punk bands that cater to the 19-year-old audience, do go through there. And in the 90s, there were kind of like three places to see shows. One was the VFW Hall, which was like the premier place to go because it was 1 block away from campus. So everyone who didn't have a car could just walk to the show. And so like if you're 19 and you live in a college town and it's 1997, chances are you don't have a car.
Right.
And there's no such thing as Uber yet. And the bus, it runs once an hour. It's like you were kind of like a prisoner of like living on campus. So the VFW was like the place. And I saw another band called Buck-O-Nine and a couple other bands at the VFW. And it was great because you literally could just like walk to the VFW, have the best time of your life. And then when you're all like crazy, then you like walk back to your dorm room. But this other place to see shows was this roller rink called Flippo's. And it was one of like, in the 90s, they produced a lot of these independent shows at like places that really shouldn't be hosting shows like Flippo's, the roller rink. Because like, you know how to get into the floor of the roller rink, there's just like this little tiny entrance.
Yeah,
like
just
you
a
gotta
little
funnel
tiny
everybody
cut in a concrete wall.
Yeah. And then to get out again, you got to get back to that place. So like once you're in, you're in. You can't really like, oh, I'm gonna need to go to the bathroom later. No, they just put like literally to the maximum the fire marshal will allow in this building. is all crammed in here. You're stuck in here. But yeah, I saw them, and they were the middle act, and then the headliners were Blink-182. But
Oh, dang.
they
Okay.
were, I didn't know them. I didn't know
Yeah.
Blink-182. They just had that song, I think it was Damn It. Is that that one of their first hits?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, we'll stay. And they played that one first because, it's a college, they wanted everyone to be on their side. So we stayed for that song. And then I'm like, I don't know any of these other songs. I think I'm going to leave. But then
awesome.
later you get really into them because they're, good. And why did they go on tour together? Because Travis, who's the drummer for Blink-182, is like best friends with the Aquabats.
Oh, awesome.
So and he like sat in with them, and like when he was between bands, he would play with them. Apparently Travis worked as like the guy who came and installed cable boxes. Like when he was 19, he came out to LA and was like installing cable boxes. He was crashing on the sofa of one of these guys, but like literally best friends with the guys that founded Aquabats. And so that's such a like tightly knit community.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, our band Blink is getting really famous, kind of, and we're gonna like do this little summer tour. Who can we bring with us? We can bring the Aquabats. So yeah,
That's awesome.
was like that spirit, like the punk rock spirit of like you bring everybody up with you and you just try and you just do it. So like, even Blink also, there's a social commentary, but it's like not like a serious social commentary, but it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. Same kind of deal.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. My third song. It's all in the same vibe. I don't know. I didn't know I had a theme, but now that I'm looking at the songs, I do have.
That happens. Your brain
happens.
makes connections subconsciously while you're doing this.
Yeah. So this one, this song is old, but this video is not.
I can turn my head off. The less that I feel is the less that I'm on top. Wonder what you think as we lay here in bed. I don't know what I'm thinking, and that's better for my head. When I wake up tomorrow, will you still feel the same? When I wake up tomorrow, will you have changed? 'Cause I still feel the same. 'Cause I still feel the same. 'Cause I still feel the same. Here in your bedroom, I can turn my head off. The less that I feel, the less that I'm on top. I wonder what you think as we lay here in bed. I don't know what I'm thinking, and that's better for my head.
Oh my God, I love this song.
I love this song.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I saw Goldfinger at that VFW also. I'm like, who else did I see at the VFW? And it's like, it was 1997, so people don't like, someone our age has it written down on a piece of paper, everyone who's ever performed there. But I couldn't figure out, like I Googled them, like bands that played the San Luis Obispo VFW Hall from 1996 to 1999, and you know how rarely Google comes up blank? I'm like, it's like, no, it had nothing.
There is no one else who wants this data to be put together. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I don't think I've ever seen Goldfinger like as a headliner, but I guarantee I have seen them a few times. They might have opened for someone else or just been part of a festival that I've seen, but yeah, they're on another band that's just like on Sirius FM punk channel, Faction Punk or whatever, and they're awesome. Like, oh my gosh.
I almost put their cover of 99 Red Balloons instead.
Yeah.
I still play that song like at least once a month. I'll be like, hey Siri, play 99 Red Balloons by Goldfinger. And but my daughter was like, this is not a good song. They're talking in German. What is, I'm like, you're 10. You don't know. I don't have time to get into the context of my life. But I feel like Goldfinger is kind of, well, also I listen to Green Day, but for Green Day, I think it's different of like actually like punk ska, the kind of garagey underground, not super famous mainstream music. I think Goldfinger is like my edge of punk. Like you can hear that they are much more of like a true punk band.
Yeah.
But I still think that they have enough fun element and enough like happiness element in their music that it's still kind of in that ska vibes for me, and not like the Offspring is actually kind of too far into punk for me. Like if they weren't from Garden Grove, I don't think I would like them as much, because I think they're actually a little bit too far into punk.
Oh, that's good to know, because they're not far enough into punk for me. So
yeah,
I will make sure. I know once I go past that boundary, Rhiannon will have no idea. So
I will have no idea. I mean, it's possible, like, you know, there if it loops back around to like new wave, like if it loops back around to British Invasion, I might know it.
I get you.
Yeah.
You're very right. Definitely different subgenres there, but that makes sense, because Goldfinger really does ride that line for me. But you can hear the difference, you know, and you know, one less like big bandy feel, right?
Yeah.
And a little bit more of the just 3-chord
yeah
in the punk or whatever.
But yeah, I love all of these COVID videos that people did, these quarantine videos, and I love seeing us being old. I love when the bands from our youth are still bands, and they are like, yes, we're old now, but you know what? We can still rock. I love that so much. So yeah, like this they did a whole series. I think they did like 7 or 8 videos, all in this same recording session of the one that's right here. But I'm like, yeah, you could see like the same thing with actually the Offspring now, because they are like 50-year-old well-off white dudes. And kind of look like it now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And like the same thing here is like Tony Hawk. Do you ever look at Tony Hawk?
Oh, girl, yes. We are into skateboarders and Tony Hawk. And yeah, I got sucked into these punk rock TikToks that I subscribe to. And it's like all these skateboarders, you know, a dude that's now a dentist, and he's got like a tie on and, you know, button down shirt, and he's doing a handstand on a skateboard and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, live it up. Tony Hawk's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, Tony Hawk is just also kind of the same, like going back to a couple weeks ago, we were talking about like Sublime and like, oh, the hangout culture and the kind of like, you live in Southern California and it's like so easy to just, you know what? Let's just lay around. Like you only get to be 19 years old one time. Let's just kind of like lay around and only do what we want to do. Like you only work hard enough to pay rent, and literally like 5 guys are crashing in a 1-bedroom apartment type of situation. But the different paths out of that, I think that's just so fun for me to see how we grew up. It's like, sure, I didn't become a world touring punk band, but it's interesting to see like even just like some of them fully like are like have an interior decorator, and some of them just have like all the stuff that they just like a big kid. Like I always wanted 4 guitars, and now I got 4 guitars. Like I love seeing all that stuff. Okay, I have one more song.
Okay,
that is complete nonsense, and it is not from the 90s, but I don't know, just like this era of my life, this song needs to be played, and it is
okay.
So silly. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Hey, listen up, everybody. Got a little special thing I'd like to do tonight. And play a little song for you about the nastiest, freakiest little sex puppet I know, Fiona.
Oh my God.
This one's for you, baby. Happy anniversary.
Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday. She tells him she's in church, but she doesn't go. Still she's on her knees, and Scotty doesn't know. Oh, Scotty doesn't know. Oh, so don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty.
Oh my God.
Okay, so very quick, because we have to go back and do our adult jobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember ringtones? Do you remember ringtones?
Yes, absolutely.
Like in the movie.
I still make them. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really? Okay, I
Yeah.
haven't figured out how to make them now.
Yeah.
The latest, now that they took away my iTunes, I don't know how to make ringtones. We're gonna have to like text me how to do this.
I'll tell you.
But
I'll hook
remember
you
in
up.
the movie, this song became like everyone's ringtone.
Yes.
It-
And he would
and-
hear it, and he would hear it in every club in Europe and everything
Yeah.
else.
So we used to have this as one of our ringtones.
That is so awesome. Oh my God. Okay, first of all, I do want to talk about this in so many nerdy ways. Eurotrip is one of our favorite movies, and it is like so quintessential early 2000s with the people in it, the music, the wardrobe. You know, we were early 20s, so like, you know, these kids graduate high school. Oh my God, it's the absinthe. Like, we quote this movie so much. Fred Armisen being a creepy European dude on a train, like all the time. Anytime we want to say, excuse me, Miss Guzzi, like it doesn't, the robot battle, like so much. And I actually have a 7-inch of Scotty Doesn't Know because it came out on vinyl. It is such a killer song. Also, you know, Matt Damon was probably fresh off of, okay, we'll probably have to correct this, but Good Will Hunting or whatever drama acting he was doing, and he comes in like a bald-headed punk dude with all these piercings, and you're like, really? This is hilarious. Like, so many great things about that. And then, like, first of all, for those of you that haven't seen Eurotrip, Scotty is the guy that was in the crowd that wasn't bopping to that, and that was his girlfriend Fiona that just broke up with him on graduation day. And you know, he didn't know it was because she was cheating, and then the lead singer's like, happy anniversary. And he thought this was like the love of his life, so makes it so much funnier.
Oh my gosh, this movie. I think that all of these movies, like this whole like American Pie and Road Trip and Eurotrip and like all these movies, I love these movies because I think that it does definitely capture like, this is how we acted. Maybe not to this extreme, but this is what we did. This is how we acted. This is the kind of bad decisions we made. This kind of good decisions we made. And but yeah, like for years and years, like years, that would be like my husband's phone would be ringing and be like, Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me.
Do it in my van every Sunday. And isn't it like different languages too? And then in like each country it's playing in different languages.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, we still always joke anytime we hear the city name Berlin, and the guy he's trying to speak German to him, and he's like, yeah, we got to get to Berlin, and then he keeps saying nowhere near Berlin. They're going nowhere near Berlin. Oh my God. Anyway, total jokes out of context, but we quote Eurotrip so much. Like, so much.
We highly recommend to the youths, if you want to understand what's going on in the 40-year-old lady's house.
What we were like in our early 20s and the crazy stuff we got into, the fashion, the music.
Yeah, like everything was like that shiny fabric.
Yeah. I'm so glad you picked that song. That is quite the zany one. But it's one of those like, okay, this is a funny movie, but okay, this song rocks. This is a great song. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And I feel like there is like that time when, we got this by like ripping it off of a DVD audio or something. Like you had to like kind of pirate the music. Like you had to be part of the piracy.
Yes,
And now it's
absolutely.
like I feel like now people don't really fully understand the effort you had to put in to pirate things.
Yeah,
Couldn't just
exactly.
go on YouTube and just find everything. Although
Exactly.
I do like the ease and convenience of being able to go on YouTube and just find everything, because I think that's what I did. I put on YouTube. I'm like, Scotty doesn't know. Is it going to show it to me? And I'm like, thank you, Google
And then,
Google
yeah,
repository.
and that's also a place too where you can find out, are my likes and memories mainstream, or is this some quirky thing that only I loved? It depends on like how easy you can find it with your blank
Yeah,
Google search.
yeah,
Like,
like
mhm,
this clip has been on the internet on this
yeah,
site for 6 years and only has 300,000 views. So I'm like, okay, well, other people besides me have seen it, but this is not quite this is not quite mainstream. But
oh,
then
that's awesome.
sometimes I'll go on here and I'm like, oh, 1,000 views. Oh, I am a special snowflake.
It's all relative. It's all relative.
That's
So,
all relative. Okay, we have to go be adults again. So
well,
I'm gonna
before we
stop
go,
recording. Oh, okay.
I know that I didn't have any like new records for the week or whatever, but I was prepared this time. So I just
Okay.
wanted to share a couple new ones that we just they're not new artists or anything, but new records in my collection now since we last spoke. So also, we sign up to a lot of like record labels or record distribution or records online record stores or whatever, and we get alerted when there's deals. So we got like a couple of these. They were only like $7 a piece, so we grabbed them. So like this is a limited edition pressing. It's a 4 LP set of 20 years of Placebo. So Placebo is kind of a strain, again, weird whiny voice. It's just my thing.
Hmm.
You would know probably some of their songs like Pure Morning. Oh, you know what? Every You, Every Me. So I learned of them from the Cruel Intentions soundtrack, because let me
Okay.
tell you about Cruel Intentions soundtrack. That's one of my favorites. So had to get this. This was definitely my pick. And then got a TSOL, some more punk, got some punk and some bouncing souls. Got some bouncing souls. So got some new vinyl. And then I wanted to share this because this is 80s. Last Friday we went to see Bobcat Goldthwait at a random castle at a state park in Ohio, an hour away. So, he is 60 years old. I think Bobcat is either like not people's taste or cup of tea, or he is, because he was very much screamy on Police Academy and things. But dude is super smart. He's got a lot of witty comedy. Some people just can't handle the wildness, but it is 60-year-old wildness now. And he's gotten COVID twice. We were going to get to do a meet and greet, but he was kind of like, I don't want to meet randos in public anymore at this point. But he was nice enough to like sign. We brought our comedy special Meet Bob vinyl, and so it says, Nick and Katie, best wishes. One of the workers at the castle like went back and got it signed for us. So we didn't get to face meet him, but we were right there. And he's talking about getting his hearing aid. He was talking about he lives kind of in the Midwest, just like west of Chicago. And he said he was like one of the skinniest people, and so just old people, Midwest jokes, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And still super smart, still, about society. He's just always like, even though he might be a smart ass or something like that, he's a very positive person. And and then someone got proposed to while we were there. So I had to show the album. Comedy albums are still like a favorite of mine as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Bobcat Goldthwait used to be the voice of a rabbit puppet on a long-running sitcom. I'll put it in next week's corrections and updates. I'll Google that, because I
Yeah.
remember that, yeah, once he started to Like he wanted to not just play that one. He didn't want to just be that one police academy like crazy
Zed, yeah.
character.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to
Yeah.
have a little bit more like nuance and variety. And I
Yeah.
remember, I feel like this was one of his roles, but I will
Yeah.
just Google it and then I'll
But
put it in
you know,
instructions
for
and
those
updates.
for those of you that want to get into Bobcat, I mean, Hot to Trot's hilarious. Again, old 80s movies are crazy. He was
Yeah.
in Scrooged, you know, you can IMDb him. He's been in a lot of things and
And the Police Academy movies are great.
amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
We've started to rewatch them again. We made it through Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol last
That's
night.
the best one. That's the best one. Yeah.
I don't know, 3
Citizens
is
on
pretty
Patrol.
great.
I don't know. I love Citizens on Patrol. That one's my hands down favorite. Okay.
Good to know.
We
All
have to
right.
go do our adult jobs now. All right.
Okay.
Bye, Katie.
See ya. Bye-bye.